saying they're not really that well practiced. So can they show up on the main stage?
Without a doubt they can, but going into game number 1, Strongholds on Empire, we're going to see a lot of quick and fast action here as you've got that Stronghold bottom middle, and a lot of players got to put that attention quickly at the very start of this game. On top of that, making sure they get this overshield. And we're already seeing Buck20 make a move here over towards outside, but quickly going to get tag teamed and taken down. Over on the other side, Lunny is going to pick up the camo, and it looks like Vexed are able to get control of overshield and camo, giving themselves a big advantage here to start this match.
Yeah, an amazing start, just being able to push both sides. You saw Buck20 trying to contest that overshield, but he was just overwhelmed by the presence of Vexed. Clearly their starting strategy really on point. But I mean, if you look at the control, it's actually going in favor of their opposition. Now they may have all of the goodies, but they need to start getting these strongholds back.
Well, you're going to see Lunny go down. So over to Riots real quick as he picks up the battle rifle. So yeah, definitely interesting to see them get so much control there at the start of the match, but not really able to get too much attention towards those strongholds. You know, we've been talking a lot about Vexed and how they've been preparing for this tournament. I'd love to jump into a listen-in with this squad, so let's jump in to a listen-in with Vexed.
I'm in red sneak here. Outside. Red outside, up by himself. Two there. Yeah, they know me now.
Where'd it go?
I've naded it. Show guys. I've naded it twice. One's going pit now. Pit now, later. I can't contest this. Let it go if you have to. Another one red core. One. Contesting. On blue front as well.
Where you go?
They're going to be in blue.
One shot around me.
Two in blue right now.
Go.
Red. Robbie, red off spawn. One's high red. Lunny, one shot.
Where's he?
One shot. From Lunny. Nice, Alex. That's your arm pit. One's jumping in your window now. From red, two guys from red. Red outside on me. Red blue, I'm coming pit. Red light, bro.
Alright, boys. Red tower weak. Boys, I mean, one shot. Red outside of me. Get on. One challenge.
I'm playing camera.
Pit on me, one shot.
Can we go west?
We'll stick it, one shot. One shot outside me. Outside me. Two here. Chris is dead. Another guy.
What time was camera? Do we know?
No, we don't. So west is up.
There you see it. Vexed have brought themselves back into this right away. So we're going to see if they can continue to hold on to these two strongholds. It's a battle for pit, though, as they are slowly losing this. And you're going to see Quadios not attempt to go for that. He's going to go for the ninja on the overshield player. Almost very close on getting that, but not able to get that connection. And now we're seeing the trip cap on the other side from Endpoint. Anything to point out here so far, Gasket?
Endpoint are showing up, and they were able to pick up the overshield and contest the camouflage because they both came up at the same time. They've got a triple cap, they're putting points on the board, and they're really taking it to Vexed at the moment. You can see Morga hitting all of his shots, so's the rest of the squad. I mean, this is something Vexed have got to be worried about. They do not want to go 1-0 down to these guys.
Morga in a great position right here, able to get lots of lines of sight across the map and keep those players at bay. And they're just sitting pretty easy right now with no one contesting pit and no one contesting red base as two more players fall from Vex. And look at this, he's still just hanging back, checking his back, making sure there's no one here. And look at the teamwork constantly. These players just picking up weak kill after weak kill. There's the double. And once again, just hanging back, making sure Vex is spawning at the furthest point over at blue base.
Now, Endpoint, they got control right at the start, and that's really played into their advantage because Empire can be really messy, and I would fear if Vexed were in control of this game type because they'd just be able to go from spawn to spawn. But Endpoint, the fact they've been able to stay ahead, they've been able to keep it a little bit scrappy, has really played into the advantages of the individual abilities of the likes of Morga, of the likes of Septic, who can just kind of run around and finish off kills here, there, and everywhere. Great play from Zur here as well, contesting this, and he got support as well from teammates. That's been reset, and they're still scoring points.
3 down for Vexed, and they are still looking pretty right now, holding those two strongholds, just roaming the map, holding on to those key points on the map to block these spawns. So Vex are just continuing to spawn at the furthest point. Now you've got Zug getting ready for this next camo, and he's got it.
Yeah, camo's up. Overshield is also up as well, so you'll see the rest of his teammates pushing around the other side of the map. But at the moment, still in control. Vex, they're trying to rotate round to this red base, and you can see Lunny's there taking a few shots as well. So now expect the rest of Endpoint all to push in to make sure this gets reset. And Vexed are really struggling to get any sort of control in this matchup. This is a big kill if he can pick this one up. You can see he's trying to get it it in quad, actually. That is huge. Absolutely massive. I cannot express enough how important it was they picked up the opposite base.
Clutch kill for Quadios. Now he's got his eyes on the prize here at the pit. He's got a teammate nearby. They are going to be able to swing this in their favor. They've got some catching up to do, though. Goes for a beatdown, not going to be able to connect, and that pit could be getting retaken once again, along with this other base here over by blue. So a little bit of a switch about to happen. So they're going to hold this trip cap as they lose red base as well, but the main thing is that they are still holding pit. And you've got Riots moving from Turbine, kind of back and forth between the bases, keeping a good focus on these bases. Just back and forth, he's kind of going, and look at this, slowly bringing this game back, but still a lot of catching up to do.
I mean, this is where Vexed are at their best, when they have control and when they can rotate as a unit. You can see Riots is just going back and forth between bases and working with his teammates. You can see how well he's listening as well. He keeps switching where his reticule is, just to make sure he's covering every single angle possible. Now, for Endpoint, they want to make sure they can get this pit, but they don't want to just constantly bombard it and throwing themselves individually into it. Otherwise, that's going to happen. Grenades are going to kill you, pistol shots are going to kill you, and you're going to really be punished for jumping in individually. But a big triple coming out of Morga. Can he find an overkill as well? Thankfully, a teammate is there, but he does get taken down. But the triple kill allows them to take that pit and puts them putting more points on the board.
So close, and you're going to see Endpoint with a 50 kill to 35 kill from Vexed. So definitely outslaying Vexed by quite a bit right now, and now still controlling that pit and trying to close out this game here. If they can hold on to this pit along with this camo and overshield, they are actually, Riots was able to pick up the overshield. So if Riots is able to use that to get some control, then they might be able to swing this back in their favor. But look at Endpoint. As they lose the blue base, they're just picking up red base, and this is kind of just like clockwork from them. Look at that. Riots completely drained of his overshield by 3 players from Endpoint. But in doing so, you saw Vexed capitalize on the moment, and they were able to capture the pit.
Yeah, they gave up pit just to take down that overshield, because you were completely right. The overshield could swing this game, so they knew how much of a priority that was. But now Vexed are leaning off that and picking up kill after kill onto Endpoint, and we're relying a lot on Zer here to do something with his camouflage. He's being very patient, which I credit him for, but I wouldn't be surprised if he now tries to rotate, get a few back smaps, and then take pit. But he has been spotted out because unfortunately the camouflage has gone out. Luckily, Septic is picking up some kills, but 91 to 60, Vexed can still get back in this game. Empire is one of those games that you're not out of until the game is over.
Well, he's got to put some focus here at bottom mid because they are losing that fast. It's almost taken over, but a nice reset here from Vexed, fighting a 1v1 here. Can he finish it off? Zug goes down, and that's going to be 3 down for Endpoint. So Vexed still holding on, but if you look, they are losing blue base, but at the same time, taking red base for a nice switcheroo.
Yeah, now Endpoint may just play this slightly patiently. In about 30-35 seconds, we can see both Overshield and Camouflage come up once again. And if Endpoint play this correctly, they'll say, okay, we have enough of a lead that we don't need to pressure too much and just give away unnecessary deaths. Instead, as long as we keep at least one of these strongholds, we don't want to be giving total control, then we can wait, we can push for that Overshield, and then we can dive in.
Yep, Overshield and Camo both coming up in 12 seconds right now. This could be a pivotal point here in this game. If either team is able to get control of both of those, even just one of those, Overshield probably being the main priority, but that's going to be 2 down for Vex, 1 down for Endpoint. You see a few players getting ready for that outside. They are both up. Overshield goes into the hands of Quadios. He's got to make it back to the pit to try and get the reset. Doesn't matter. He has Riots there picking up the reset, and look at this. What a comeback we are seeing from Vex right now. Down by so much in the early point of the game, but he gets hit by the plasma pistol. They're losing basement. They're losing the opposing base as well. And look at this. Endpoint are looking to close this out right now.
Morgan was able to pick up Camouflage. He flanked around. They made sure they took down the Overshield as well. They need to keep control of pit, though. Everyone is going to start bombarding into this. 3 members of Vexed all in there. Get your grenades in.
They get it.
3 kills from Vexed. That should be able to take the pit. Now they're starting to put more points towards, and potentially we're seeing a Vexed comeback.
97 to 96. Just a few more seconds until this game is over. The pit is being contested. Quadios trying to get the kill. That's going to be a clutch one if he can get it. He doesn't, but it doesn't matter. Time was on their side right there, and Vex bring that game back. Being down by so much in the early start of that game. A nice little relief there you saw from a few of the players kind of sitting back in their chair. You got to be happy to win that game number 1, especially being down as much as you were. Incredible plays across the board from Vex. You saw that overshield at the end, helped them get that secure on the pit. Even though Riots was killed by that plasma pistol, it was able to buy them some time to just get that control for a little bit longer.
I'm scared. I'm scared that that might be the series just over there. Like, all of Endpoint's momentum just shut down. That was their chance to get 1-0 ahead, get in the heads of Vexed, but instead, Vexed did pretty well. There was the one moment in the game where Riot had picked up the overshield and all 4 members of Endpoint swarmed him to take it down, but meanwhile they lost Pit, and ever since then they weren't able to get back any sort of control. And to be honest now, Vex should be able to move forward and just carry on with this momentum, to be honest, Mike.
Yeah, without a doubt. And talking about losing that game, mentally that is going to hurt you. You're so close. But these are the top 4 teams in Europe. You got to let that one go. If you're a top competitor here in Europe, you're not going to let something like that phase you. Yeah, it hurts. Yeah, it sucks. But you got to move on. You can't worry about that. This is a best of 7. There's a lot more games to be played here. Potentially, we could see a drawn-out series, but it seems like by the predictions from us, even the analysts, we all kind of think this is going to be a 4-0.
Now, I know we didn't get the stats up, but Morgo went 28-13 in that game, and they did lose. So that's always going to be annoying when you put so much effort, so much slaying ability into an objective, but still losing a game. But credit to Endpoint for keeping it that close. I don't think many people would have expected it to be that close, especially considering the practice that Endpoint have actually been able to have.
Well, it wasn't even close. At the beginning, it wasn't close at all. Endpoint looked like they had pretty much won the game. And Vexed, little by little, getting control of the overshield, getting control of the camo, and making some very clutch plays around the pit. They were able to bring that back, but it looked like it was all but over.
That's what Empire can do, though, right? As long as you've got pit and a base, it can be so hard to take over that pit. And you can see Vexed were constantly trying to rotate round from blue to red to take the opposition base first before they went for pit. But they were being shut down by Turbine time and time again. And a little bit of frustration, I think, started to sit in. Instead, they eventually went for the later plan of actually trying to just take a fight rather than going to red base, and that's when they were able to get pit. Of course, there was that overshield moment as well that I spoke of. But regardless, we now move into Game 2. Vexed will be feeling confident. They were feeling confident the entirety of yesterday. I mean, despite the fact they went down early to Supremacy, speaking to some of the players backstage, Riots were saying, look, we've been in this position before. We've lost to them in online cups. We can easily come back. And now they're on a high after beating XL yesterday as well with that reverse sweep. I'm not entirely surprised that they're 1-0 up here, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do carry on to just dominate this series.
Yeah, I mean, take a look at that squad, all kind of just sitting back. It seems like they're feeling pretty comfortable right now, and definitely a little bit relaxed after taking that home so close towards the end of that match. But it's interesting to see. They're not really chatting, getting ready for Game 2. They're all kind of just hanging out, feet up, kick back. We're going to win this.
Yeah, that shows
We're just relaxing.
How confident you are. If you're not even discussing about the next map, which is going to be Slayer on Eden, by the way. So we were talking about fast, scrappy games. Slayer Eden can slow down a little bit. It really depends on what the team wants and the team's style, how they want to play that game. I'd imagine Endpoint will try and keep it relatively quick. But unfortunately, when you're going up against a team like Vexed, we've seen them dominate on these kind of game types, Regret as well. Any game type where they can rotate as a unit and keep the speed up, they really look like an amazing, incredible force, to be honest.
And if you're just tuning into the stream, this is a match for a spot to go to DreamHack Denver. All expense paid trip, and your team is heading off to North America. So this is a very important match that you want to win right now. Yes, there's the LCQ, but you want to do it here right now. There's a look at the series layout. Game number 1, what we just watched. Vexed bringing it back little by little throughout the entire game to win 100-96. Game number 2, Eden Slayer. It seems like this game type in the European scene really slows down. And I believe we saw Endpoint yesterday or the day before really slow this game type down. So we may see this game slow down completely in the first minute.
I don't think Vex will allow it. Honestly, I don't think they'll allow it to happen. If they even notice a tiny little bit of momentum slowing down, the speed not really slowing, they will just continue to push and get aggressive as we kick things off with Cristola here with the observer view. And he's going to just try and get this overshield nice and early. He has found a route, but unfortunately gets shut down immediately by Lunny.
What a play. Quadios, he's going to sneak in and pick the overshield up right in front of Buck's face. Nothing he could do there. gets the Hydra as well, so a good amount of overshield left on top of that, tied up 3-3, and Quadio is just trying to make a flank to get behind the squad, shooting a safety Hydra here to make sure nobody's behind him, seeing if any hit ticks will pop up, but that overshield is all but gone now as you see red X's fall across the map. So Morgan was able to get away here with that sniper, so we'll jump on board with him here in just a second as he's got his eyes on the prize across the map, and he's gonna get a connection. Riots goes down, up 6-4, and he's got his teammates in front of him, creating this wall of just creating this wall in front of him, making it so hard for these players to push up and even attempt to get close to him.
Yeah, Morga is a fantastic player, somewhat underrated player by most people, I would say, as Riot gets connected with another sniper shot. Riot, stop challenging it, otherwise you're going to keep dying. This could play into Endpoint's favor now. They've got an early lead yet again. As long as Morga sticks with his team and he's well aware of which angles he's being covered from, he should be able to pick up a decent amount of kills with this sniper rifle, because he does have a very good shot on him.
Well, look at Endpoint. They have definitely slowed things up and got the power weapons into their favor, so no need for them to move. They're up 10-4. No reason to risk any unneeded deaths. Make the other players come to you. I mean, this is a classic standoff here, and within the first 2 minutes of the game, they have easily slowed this up. You said Vexed weren't going to let them, and it seems like Endpoint have kind of maybe expected Vexed that they were going to try and be a little bit overly aggressive, and they've got the best of them now.
Well, yeah, they've got the advantage of having the sniper rifle, so it forces Vex to slow down. Vex wouldn't have wanted this situation, of course, but it doesn't matter how aggressive you want to be, you can't be that aggressive when there's a sniper rifle looking at you from every angle. You can see there are several Vex players trying to creep their way up to a certain side of the map. Once they've all gathered close enough to where they think the sniper rifle is, that's when they'll burst out to try and take the sniper down. But I love this movement. Riot has managed to find himself an overshield, and this is the time. You move right in for that sniper rifle, but Morga has actually traveled across the map to make sure he gets away from it, and he's still putting shots in on these Vex players.
Yeah, that was interesting. Endpoint didn't really put too much pressure for that OS. It looked like Vex almost kind of got it for free. You saw Endpoint slowly make their way there, but it was a little too late, and Riots really took advantage of that play. But Morga still with the sniper, only 2 shots left in the chamber. Make that one as the next sniper is going to be up in 15 seconds, just firing shots off like it's nobody's business, but not able to really get any type of connection. He'll finally be taken down by Riots. But look at this, Buck rotating around the map, and he is ready to pick up that next sniper.
And this is fine. Morga's done his job. He used all the bullets. He got like 4 or 5 kills. Now the new sniper rifle's back. It doesn't matter that Vex were able to get control of that side, because, oh, where's it gone? It's been combat evolved somewhere else. But Connie's not going to be particularly happy about that. He was waiting for it. So the sniper rifle's gone. Walkies, and we'll find that somewhere later in the map, I would have thought. If anyone's managed to catch it, yes, Riots was the one who caught it. So decent grenades there from that team. Well rehearsed and well oiled, and now we've got the flip side. Vexed have the chance to try and use this sniper rifle to their advantage, and it's going to be where the Endpoint are going to start poking their heads out to have a little look.
Right, you are. Yes, they have slowed things down now, and Riot's just waiting for his teammates to get any players to kind of peek out just a little bit so he can pick up an easy kill, but he's got to be wary here. There could be players pushing to his right side. He does notice players potentially up on the bridge, so we'll jump into observer mode so you can see the outlines on where these players from Endpoint are and where they could potentially be pushing from. So Riot's still just in the same spot. He's got his teammates here over at Tower, over here by Nest, and we're going to see potentially maybe a few snipes from him.
Overshield's coming up in 10 seconds as well, so that's why Endpoint are being a little bit patient, and they're positioning themselves accordingly to try and get that. You can see they're all hanging around Turbine kind of area. Is anyone from Vex there to shut them down? It doesn't look like they are currently, so we'll see who's able to grab that. I think it's Zer who picked up the Overshield. Yes, there he is. Now he'll push around. This is exactly what Vex just did to Endpoint, to be honest. Just waiting patiently, get the Overshield, and then you attack on that sniper. But you need to be very knowledgeable. You need to know where that sniper is, because if you push in the wrong area and you get sniped right in the back, then you're not going to be happy.
Well, it's a little bit quiet here. He's trying to look around for any players, but really not many shots going off. He does spot the sniper player, though. He's going to try and get some eyes on him, and oh my gosh, he's going to get taken down. Riot's getting some help there. 3 players go down from Endpoint, and Vexed have brought themselves back into this 18-19. Riot's now just up on top bridge, but not really a place you want to hang out for too long with the sniper rifle. He is going to get some great sight lines, but into observer mode, we'll see where these players from Endpoint are. He must be getting some callouts here over by the Turbine, keeping an eye over there and over by Red Base, because he has a teammate there. Not able to spot anyone, though.
How many times have I said the rotations from Vexed are just on point? They sussed out that the overshield was going to be coming for them, so they all moved together. Yes, okay, Riot's got pushed aggressively, but he had such support from his teammate that he's been able to survive with this sniper rifle, and now they're on the side of the sniper spawning as well, so this has worked out perfectly. It's going to be up in about 20 seconds, which is going to be a similar time to the overshield as well, maybe about 10 or 15 seconds afterwards. So this could work out perfectly in positioning-wise for Vexed. They can grab this new sniper rifle and then move around as a unit for the new overshield as well.
You know, I'm interested to see, are both teams going to set up for this overshield this time? We saw vice versa earlier. Both teams had a moment where they were uncontested in getting that overshield, but look at this. You do have players from Vexed, and you do have players from Endpoint getting ready for that, but say goodbye. Riots with the double kill on Za and Septic, looking to get the triple, not able to do so. He does have two teammates, make that his entire team nearby right now. They'll take down Buck 20. Morga goes down as well, and finally, Riots will be finished off.
And Lunny picked up the overshield as well as the reward, so with that distraction from Riots, I say distraction, he was just hitting shots left, right, and center. Quad now has a sniper rifle, so he's going to be looking for some action, and that's a brand new sniper as well, I believe. Yeah, so he's got plenty of bullets to work with. So now he's going to rotate around with his team and get in a decent position. A good lead now for Vex. They're 2 kills up after being like, what, 10 kills down at the start of the game. They're slowly but surely taking control of this. Admittedly, Mike, it's a slower game than I was expecting. You're completely right. The Endpoint are slowing this one down, but it looks like Vex have adapted to the situation, and they're working well together.
Yeah, right, you are. Well, like you said, Quadios making this rotation kind of back and forth through the turbine, now trying to give some cover fire here over for Riots, but looks like they're going to try and clear out blue bases. Riots leads the charge, looking up towards top bridge. That player will be taken down to 1 shot and finished off. Morga goes down. Buck goes down by a perfect from Lunny. And look at this all-out push now from Vex. 3-man push, make that 4-man, as they are just trapping and sandwiching these players here over by the tower.
I love this from Quad as well. Even though they have the man advantage and they're clearly pushing 2 or 3 players, he still keeps an eye out for spawners. He's well aware someone could spawn behind him, and he doesn't want any of his teammates to get caught out by that. 4-kill lead now, so they're doing incredibly well to keep just a very slim lead, and now they can keep good eyes on this, because all of these players of Endpoint, they've spawned over by Turbine, and I wouldn't be surprised if Vex pick up 1 kill, the rest of them will just barrage together and pincer them accordingly.
Right, you are. Well, it does look like we're going to have Endpoint already getting ready for that next OS in about 20 seconds. We'll see if Quadios is going to rotate around and potentially get some eyes here to help out his team. He does have 2 players over here. That's going to be Lunny getting a heads up on Buck. Does get a spot on the next player who may be weak, but he's going to wait for his teammates. Quadios does rotate around, picks up a kill on Za. That's going to be another one down for Endpoint. Make that 2 down, and Overshield is up in 2 seconds. About to drop. Quadios, another snipe on Septic. But I believe that Overshield is still sitting up. No player is yet to get it. 2 players making a move, and that's going to be Morga. He's able to just barely skate away with that Overshield and stay alive, but there's 3 players on him. Q's up the ground pound, not able to get it, and Morga's taken out. What a push by Vex to completely take control and go up by 10 kills.
Yeah, Endpoint committed so much to that Overshield, and yes, okay, Morga was able to drop on it last minute, but he backed off. He wanted to make a play. He went for the ground pound, cancelled it, and in the end, he was just sat mid-air whilst everyone rallied him in the face. And now Vexed have a 10-kill lead, and this is going to be a real struggle for Endpoint to really get back into this game. Admittedly, they need to slow this down even further, perhaps wait for the next sniper, wait for the next Overshield. But Vexed, I don't think now they're going to allow that to happen. Now they have this cushion of 11 kills. They are just going to continuously push and push this Endpoint lineup.
And Septic was taken down with that sniper off stream, and now 2 players of Vexed have snipers. That's going to be Riots and Quadios. Both with snipers. You've got Overshield coming up in a minute. May not even reach that far, as we're at 44 to 29. And we saw around that 30 to 35 kill mark is when Vex really just kind of kicked it into high gear. We saw them really putting more focus towards that Overshield coming up and really kind of keeping that sniper at bay and really rotating around and getting great sight lines to pick up some free kills, essentially, as their sniper is not getting pinged by pistol shots. So they're able to kind of queue up a snipe shot really easily, just like this. Riots picks up the body shot, although that player will not go down just yet. Riots is just kind of hanging back and he doesn't really need to worry too much, but I believe he is going to be getting flanked here. So, but Riots overall I'd say he's had the sniper for a good chunk of this game, and he's been making the perfect rotations and just playing very smart with this.
Yeah, Vexed, I mean, smart is the right word. They've been playing very intelligently throughout the entirety of the game, rotating well together. Credit to Endpoint, they are still surviving in this game. They slowed it down, they turtled back off their spawn. Looks like they're going to get rewarded by picking up some sniper bullets as well. New overshield has just popped, I believe, and it's going to be Lunny that's picked that one up. So unfortunately, that is going to be good night for Endpoint in this game, to be honest. As long as they push as a unit now, they should be able to close out these final 4 kills and go 2-0 up in this series. But again, Endpoint are making this a lot closer than some people would have expected. Credit to them, considering they haven't had the same amount of practice that Vexed have.
What a body shot from the sniper. Surprised he was able to hit both of those, but it's not going to be enough. This looks like it is about to be it. 49-37. Got players fighting across the map. Lunny's making his way to rotate around and try and get a sneaky kill here through the turbine going around. Quadios goes down, but finally it will be a player that falls from Endpoint, and Vexed are going to take game number 2. Fist bumps all around. So far, it's exactly what most people have predicted. Vexed are coming out here strong. Endpoint tried to slow that down quite a bit, but you saw Vexed really alter their play style to really kind of counter exactly what Endpoint wanted.
Yeah, I was really happy with how Vexed adapted to the situation. They noticed that Endpoint really wanted to slow it down, and that's what Halo 5 is about, to be honest. A lot of maps are just about finding the right situation and setting up along the way rather than just having one game plan. You need to be dynamic. You need to have several game plans to work with, and I was impressed by Vexed in that game in total. Lunny really impressed me as well, and it showed in the scoreboard. 17 kills he was able to pick up, going +6, 9 assists as well. Look at those assists actually from the whole of Vexed. A very solid team shot. Really impressed overall.
Let's check out the power weapon kills here. Power weapon grabs 1 from each team. Power weapon kills, actually only 6 power weapon kills from Vex and 4 from Endpoint, but it did just seem like Vex really had the sniper, at least in their control for most of the game, which does make it hard for Endpoint to try and push out, as they know that at any point they could just get taken out in one shot.
So at the start of the game, we saw Endpoint, of course, having control of the sniper. Morga was doing big things with it. They then rotated around and they were able to pick up the second sniper, but Vexed kind of acknowledged what was happening. They stopped that and they countered it. They picked up the sniper rifle, and then they just seemed to rotate as a unit constantly for the entirety of the game. It was weird. It was like just watching them on some sort of rotating platform, and it really worked out well. Unfortunately for Endpoint, they kept getting stuck in a base off spawn, and they had to turtle because the next overshield was coming up in 30 seconds.
They didn't even contest the last overshield.
Yeah, because they were in fear. They were only 4 kills away from losing, so they were like, well, if we push out, we're just going to lose the game. Our only hope of even coming back is just by sitting here, hoping they make a mistake by pushing 1 by 1. But of course, Vexed aren't going to make those mistakes as a top-tier team.
Yeah, they were able to sandwich Endpoint over by the tower and kind of around the blue attic area. But Vexed, they're playing in top form right now, and they want to be the team that's that third, or at least that third team to qualify for DreamHack Denver. It's a big match, and it's going to put a lot of comfort in on the squad so they can start preparing for Denver and kind of focus on the NA teams. And obviously, they'll still be focusing on these other 2 European teams that are above them, but their eyes are on the prize right now, and just 2 more games to go for Vexed to guarantee themselves a ticket to DreamHack Denver. Yeah,
it'll be an interesting thing for Vexed, because if they win this game, of course, they qualify for Denver, but they'll have 1 more game to see whether they get into the championship bracket or whether they'll be in the open bracket. If you're in that championship bracket, your preparation, your research is very different, because you know who you're going to be playing against, you know the type of teams you're facing. If you're in the open bracket, well, anything can happen, but regardless, they still got to get there. They're only 2-0 up in this series, and Coliseum Capture the Flag is going to be the next game type, which, in my opinion, is going to play into the hands of Vexed as well, again, just because their rotations are so good, and their weapon control has been very impressive throughout the entirety of this series, so expect to see them have some more dominance with both the sniper rifle and the rockets.
All right, well, we'll kick things off here with Endpoint with Za, as he's getting some nades across towards top bridge. He's going to lay down some fire here at top rockets. Nice kill on Cristola to catch his little head peeking around that corner, going for the double kill here down here. He's not going to get the double, but he will finish off the kill. That's going to be 2 down for Vexed. but that sniper did go into the hands of Riots, and Rockets went into the hands of Buck. So Morgan will finish off Riots and have the sniper, and those Rockets will be down on the ground. And now Zuh, so all the power weapons and all the goodies are in the hands of Endpoint. So let's see if they're going to be able to use these to push into the base and potentially get a flag moving.
And what I really want to see when you get a sniper on Coliseum flag is pushing aggressively with it and doing something with it to try and help capture a flag. I've seen a lot this tournament of players sitting back in their own base or in their own elbow and just putting shots across and basically doing nothing except delaying the inevitable of the game. I really just want aggression. Push it, find people off spawn, and this is exactly what Morgan's doing. He's also managed to find some rockets as well. Now you want to push back, and now you want to try and survive, but unfortunately gets taken down by Quad and has no support from the rest of his team.
Well, a few missed rockets there, not put to great use, but we're going to see if Quadios can push up and do any damage here with that sniper. He hits the body shot, and that player will fall off the map, I believe. Or actually, he did hit that snapshot. And you're going to see a double kill from Buck playing some good defense over here by the cave. Nade's coming flying in, but just trying to stay alive, buy some time for his teammates to spawn up, and he does have a teammate pushing up to top bridge. He's able to get a player weak, but wow, a great nade from Vexed, and Riots is going to be able to finish off that kill. And look at this, Vexed. They are on the hunt. They are incoming towards this base, finishing off a kill here over by the cave, but you're going to have Lunny fall here on that side. But this is going to be 2 down for Endpoint. Hanging on, trying to play a little bit more defense. Zuh goes down as well, but it looks like they're just hanging on, and they're not letting Vex get this flag out. But as I say that, Riots is able to keep the flag out, and now he's got it all the way beneath Rockets, past the 50-yard line, and teammates at the base as well. But he's going to get taken down right at that elbow. Double kill here from Lunny. He's got some protection here with the Rockets, and it looks like this could be the first flag cap going in. Quadios here, a teammate nearby, just in case, and they're going to go up 1-0.
Unfortunate for Endpoint, really. They're constantly on the back foot from the get-go. We saw sniper control coming out early from Vexed, and they've just held that side of the map. Endpoint were just forced back into their cave, into their flag. They've been trying to push out, and slowly but surely, Vex just made their way. They pincered them, then they pulled the flag, of course. And the rocket control from Lunny, that was just coincidental timing, really. The fact he was able to grab those rockets off of the floor, and now new sniper rifle is coming up. And Lunny, once again, is in the right position at the right time. And
I was going to say,
the wild septic just looking absolutely nowhere.
I was going to say, I thought I saw a guy on Lunny's screen 2 times when he looked to the right. Maybe he didn't catch that, but at least he was able to finish off the kill. Sniper is going to be up on top of that, which goes into the hands of Riots. We got the bolt shot with Cristola, and this flag is moving. Lunny on the prowl, trying to go for another kill. Is he going to be able to get it? Not going to be able to do so. But that flag is going to be out. It looks like that should be returned here. It hasn't made it too far, making its way out to the front bridge. Can he pick up the kill? Yes, he does with that carbine, fighting a player at top bridge. Rockets coming up here in just a second, but that flag's back. I mean, we're not really seeing Endpoint take advantage of these flag runs. Maybe that was a flag run at the wrong time. What do you think, Askin?
Well, they just ran in and they pulled it because they were worried one of their flags had just been taken out, and they went for a little bit of a counter cap. But unfortunately, Lunny has just been such a nuisance, a really pain in the backside, constantly flanking behind, finding the power weapons, rockets and sniper, and using them to his advantage. Currently, he's 12-6, so going +6, doing really well. I've been very impressed with Lunny throughout the entirety of this tournament, to be honest. He wants to make a name for himself. To be fair, all of these players want to make a name for themselves after a disappointing performance at Atlanta. They let Europe down. They all know they let Europe down, and now we're starting to see teams really shape up, and hopefully they can start to build towards the elite teams that we really should be sending over to North America.
Well, we see Buck with the sniper. No scope to the face, going for another cross map. No scope. Player behind him. He's going to slip away, though, with no shields and get his shields back here. So still sniper in hand. I believe rockets are out on Endpoint as well. So all power weapons in the hands of Endpoint. A perfect opportunity to get a flag run here, but Buck is going to get taken down to 1 shot. Nades are flying in, trying to stay alive. Goes for the no-scope, not going to be able to hit that, and that's going to be 2 down for both teams. This is a big kill. Not going to be able to do enough, though. He's able to pick up the kill, but that last player here on Vex is going to finish him off and stop any attempt of that flag moving out of their base.
A small period of control for Endpoint, and they unfortunately couldn't capitalize on it. I like the push. They tried to pin, so they tried to get into the base, but Vexed were very patient, and you can see they're just turtling up into their caves. They're waiting for these players to push in individually, and now they'll push out after they get a couple of kills. Septic's the only annoyance. He's the only person in the back at the moment. He did have those rockets, and now we can start to make a flag run as well. Needs to be well aware of people spawning in cave behind him, so I like this run. Make sure you get cover, and this may be 1-1 here.
Yeah, this is 2 down for Vexed right now, and he's going to just rally the flag off to his teammate, and they are able to tie this up 1-1. So they are still holding on here. Some clapping going on from the crowd as they potentially want to see a game 7 here. Obviously, nobody wants to see a game a 4-0 here. You want to see the most epic series happen. Perfect kill from Morga. Sniper coming up here in just a second. 3 down for Vexed. As you've got Lunny just staying alive here back at the base, trying to keep any player off from the flag. And you know what? He just did a phenomenal job at that. He was able to buy a little bit of time. He's got a couple teammates nearby, finishing off kills. Now the sniper's coming up. Rocket's up as well. Cristola trying to make a move, but flying through the air is going to be Riots, just taking down him. And that sniper still just hanging out. It's a battle, all-out brawl right now for both of these teams to try and get this sniper rifle in their control.
Yeah, but Lunny is the one who ends up with it once again. He's been finding that sniper rifle quite often. But 20 has the rockets, so at least they've got a power weapon to work with. To be honest, in this game, it feels like Vexed got a little bit too comfortable, and they've been pushing out one by one and taking individual battles, and that's played into the hands of Endpoint. They just need to synergize a little bit better. Screw their heads back on and say, actually, we need to win this series comfortably. Let's start working as a team, start working as a unit. Let's control this side as the flag is now being run by Cristola. It's like they heard the words in my ear. They now put this one in. It's going to be 2-1 up to Vexed.
Well, that was a perfect time to run the flag as well. Cristola saw kind of all the madness ensuing here over by the sniper area, and he just kind of ran straight through all of it as his teammates were picking up kills. Riots with the rocket shoots a rocket to the air, not going to be able to get a connection. 2 down for Vexed. We're going to see Endpoint potentially capitalize on this moment, pick up a few kills, and maybe get a flag moving. Can Septic stay alive? It's extremely important for him to do so. He's able to. 2 down for Vexed, going for 3 down. That's about to be all 4 down for Vexed, and that flag is on the move. They are bringing this over towards the snipe side, but it seems like it's taken them a little bit of time, but that flag will make it past the 50-yard line, and you've got Septic just trying to block off those spawns and get some shots here on the players making that push. But look at this. That flag is able to be taken out. It looked like Endpoint should have been able to get that, but they are able to get the return. So indeed, they are able to tie this up 2-2.
Yeah, Lunny used all of his effort to rush in and try and toss that flag out. In the end, that actually did nothing. If some of his teammates were able to pick up some kills, it could have worked absolutely. But it does mean now Vexed, they've gained a little bit control of the map because all of Endpoint had to go back because they saw that flag being pulled. They wanted to put that second one in. Big kill coming out of Septic. At least this flag is being stopped run. Now Vexed going to try and take this team fight, try and get this flag, but no. Decent return coming out of Endpoint. Potentially, they could move in now, try and run this flag, even go for the win here, Mike.
All right, here they go. Morga is running the flag, but the flag's out on the other side as well. Morga just getting the flag out to the front of the base, so a lot of players out in the front of the map, really just putting themselves in a very exposed position, but this flag's all the way back. Lunny is one shot. Can he get it? No, it is down on the flag stand, but look at this. Quadios realizes the situation, and he makes his way back, gets the capture to close out the game, and Vexed go up 3-0 in the series. They are 1 game away from securing a spot and a ticket to go to North America and compete at DreamHack Denver.
Lunny is such a pain in the ass. I mean, constantly behind them, constantly pulling flags. As soon as Endpoint felt comfortable, as soon as they thought they had any sort of map control,
look at this focus.
Suddenly Lunny has already got a flag halfway across the map. And yeah, like you said, focus on Riots' face. This is a big moment for these guys. Denver is so important to them. It was almost taken away from them yesterday. If you think about the fact they went down very early to Supremacy and what kind of that's going to play on your mindset before you're playing the likes of Excel, you're going to be scared that you're not going to have that chance to go to America this event. You might even be thinking about that last chance qualifier already. So they're focused, they're dedicated, they want to get this one done. They don't want to give any sort of opportunity away like this.
Without a doubt, but we were on the POV there with Riots after winning the game. Stone cold. Stone cold killer face. Like, yeah, they just won that game, but he knows it's not over yet. They want to win this one more game and just have that security that they are going to the States. And when you look at a player like that, too, and you don't really see too much emotion, you can tell how focused and how just committed and how much time he has put in for this moment right now.
Yeah, Riot's a very focused man, a good friend of mine. We used to live maybe 10 miles away from each other, so I know him quite well. And he's one of these players that just wants to get the job done, as we said. He wants to get to that event. He's trying to prove himself at this event. He kind of wasted away a little bit in Halo 5, and as I said previously, he was starting to get picked up in tournaments just for his name rather than his ability. But he really wanted to show what he was made of. He's been practicing a lot, and now it's showing off. Like, he is the Riots that we saw in the likes of Halo Reach and the likes of Halo 3. And realistically, this should be a 4-0. We'll see what happens with the next game type. But I was impressed by Endpoint, actually. As much as I want to talk about Vexed, Endpoint took the game to them. They were able to get slight amounts of control, and when they did get control, they were very good at pulling the flag at the right moments. They don't look inexperienced. That's the good thing when you get teams like this, teams that are full of players that used to play the game. That's just going to be an amazing thing. To put them on the stage, they're always going to give you a good game of Halo.
Right, you are. Well, let's talk about Quadios as well. We haven't heard too much about this player. He put up some big numbers this last match, 15 kills. But, you know, this guy, he's been not around too long, but he's been making his way into the scene. And, you know, this guy, I'd say he doesn't get enough credit that he deserves. I think he's a very well-rounded player.
I thought you were going to say he doesn't deserve to be here for a second. But
no.
Yeah, both Quadios.
You were smiling. I was like,
yeah.
Think so?
I didn't know where you were going. Quadios and Cristola, they've both come up the ranks together. A lot of people underestimated them. They were considered matchmaking kids, as it were. And then a few of the top players basically said, actually, let's give them a chance. Let's start throwing them into the works. We saw them really shine at the likes of Wembley, throughout the qualifiers, etc. And now they're on the main stage. They're heading over to American events, and they're 3-0 up here, and they have a chance to go 4-0 and head on over to Denver.
Well, look at these scores here. Very close games. Endpoint obviously are putting up a good fight, but going into game number 4, they have got to just get a little bit more umph to be able to close out the series. They had game 1 in the books. It looked like they were about to close game number 3, but here we are in game number 4. Strongholds on Plaza. Let's see if Endpoint are going to be able to stay alive and potentially punch themselves a ticket to go to North America, or are Vex just going to seal the deal and close it up here for a swift 4-0. Over here with Quadios as he makes his way to top mid. He gets pegged down to 1 shot. He's going to get beat down, and already Endpoint are able to get control of the bottom mid stronghold. But in doing so, a few of them are going to go down, and Lunny is going to pick up a double kill. And not just that, he's going to capture bottom mid as well. Neither Nest or Yard have been captured just yet. Lunny turns the corner, fighting a battle here beneath Light Rifle. And this is definitely kind of back and forth right here. Kind of typical, though, of a Plaza Strongholds match until a team is able to get control of 2 strongholds, and that's what we're seeing from Vex. They've got the basement, they've got the nest, a very typical and classic setup.
It was a really interesting decision that Endpoint decided just to dive bottom mid and go for that straight away. I mean, it's similar to Empire in that the bottom middle kind of overshield place on Empire can be a very scrappy place, so you want to get it nice and early because then you can control it and stop the other team pushing in and diving in. But realistically, they just gave up map control to Vexed. Now, Endpoint have been able to come back into it thanks to the shotgun. Morgan's been able to pick up some big kills, that total control as well. So we'll find that Vexed are going to be trapped in this yard. And if Morgan can be a sneaky little beaver, pick up some big kills, maybe they'll push back in. They'll get total control, and they'll keep Vexed on this constant spawn cycle of should I, would I, could I shoot? Where should I push? Should I go to yard? Should I go into cafe? Should we go bottom mid? And as soon as that indecisiveness comes into effect, as soon as the unpredictability of your opposition is happening, that's when it gets very, very difficult on this game.
What do you think about this push here, though? Endpoint are really pushing up towards the yard and really leaving the nest and basement kind of open for the other team to push out to. It looks like they are able to get the trip.
I like it. I really like it because, as I was just saying, you want to split those spawns up. You want to get them on the split push because then you can just find them 1 by 1 or 2 by 2 and you can finish off those kills whilst you're racking up an insane amount of time whilst doing so.
Well, over to Lunny as he's making his way top mid because Overshield is about to be up. We're going to see if he can get control of that. Excuse me, sorry, Camo is going to be up, but that's going to be 3 down for Endpoint. Last player down to 1 shot. It's going to be Morga. Can he get away? Not going to be able to do so. And finally, Vex now have kind of put the game into their favor. Riots with Camo able to pick up the stronghold here in the basement. Nades are coming flying in from all over, but Riots is going to do a little jump here up to the yellow pipes, and we're going to see if he can get some shots on a few players. Buck, unsuspecting of Riots right now, taking it slow. Riots doesn't know where Buck went, though. It looks like he did go to bottom middle. Buck's going to get some shots on him. Riots is going to be able to finish him off, picking up the kill and untouched with the camo. But players are back into that nest, but they're able to get the reset. So very good job here from Vex. What we just saw Endpoint doing, Vex are able to kind of simulate the exact same thing and get control of the shotgun as well.
Yeah, I mean, timing the shotgun is very important. I was impressed by Riot just kind of controlling bottom middle with his camouflage there. A lot of people, when you get camouflage, you feel like you need to make an instant impact, but instead, he was very patient. He waited for someone to push bottom middle, and he made them his own. He said, actually, bottom middle is mine, and I'm going to make sure we keep control of it. Slowly, they're clawing their way back into this now. They should be able to take bottom mid again because they've got a few players down and have the man advantage. If Riot could hit a shotgun shot, then they definitely would have got it, but it looks like he has support from the rest of his team to be able to grab this one anyway.
Yeah, some great teamwork from this Vex squad to get control of the basement. You saw all of them kind of put their focus and attention around the bottom mid area, and you had Riot's kind of putting himself out there, but he had the help of a few teammates to really kind of lock down a few points so he could put his focus towards the truck. But in the end, it's going to be Endpoint who are able to regain control of that 45-33, but we did see what happened in game one, Gaskin. We saw Endpoint really go up on Empire strongholds by quite a good amount, but it was Vexed who were able to pull it together towards the end of that match and really put it back into their favor and close out the win. Are we potentially seeing kind of the same thing here?
We definitely could, because at the start of the game, it gets a little bit sloppy. Riot is able to pick up the camera there, but I think that goes down straight away. The start of the game is a little bit sloppy, so you get those individual battles that are really going to pay off for the likes of Endpoint, who still have a good shot. Whilst they're not going to be amazing as a team because of the lack of practice, they can definitely hit their shots, win their individual battles. As we get to the later stages, when the timings get a little bit different and you can start to set up a little bit more, that's when you'd expect Vex to start getting back into things, and they should be able to still close this one out and start really getting closer to Denver, to be honest, Mike.
Well, this has been an all-out charge fest towards bottom mid. Just seeing bottom mid go into the favor of Endpoint and Vex back and forth, and here we go again. It's going back into the favor of Vex as they are trying to get this capture. Riot's just trying to pick up a kill, and here we go again. Endpoint taking this bottom mid. Really, no one putting any attention towards Nest or towards Yard. It's just both teams sending all four players around the bottom mid, and look at this again. You've got Vex regaining control. This is legitimately back and forth. I'm very surprised neither team has even attempted to really kind of make a flank and put attention towards either Nest or Yard.
Yeah, both teams seem to be more than happy to have this bottom middle fight. It just seems like a bit of a boxing match at the moment. I would expect Vex to slightly switch up their game plan ever so shortly and maybe push towards Yard and get Yard and Nest. Then as soon as Endpoint are distracted and they push away from bottom middle, that's when they'll dive in and try and take control. But they need to do something soon because Endpoint are actually getting closer and closer to a victory in this game. And Vex, it seems like they're running out of ideas a little bit here.
Well, Buck is just going to get some shots here on the player at Prius. Morga will finish him off, so good communication between them two. And here we go. Finally, we're seeing a player make a move because you saw Vex flank around and capture the Yard. So they're going to make a little bit of a switcheroo here. And we are going to see Camo come up in just 10 seconds. So keep an eye out for that as well. That will give a little bit of an advantage for either team to really kind of keep some focus and keep some sneakiness around that bottom mid. But Vex slowly about to capture this. Buck just jumps in to buy a little bit of time. It's not going to be enough though, as Lunny is able to pick up Camo and Vex is able to gain control here and playing it very sneaky. You gotta like this play. Sometimes you'll see players really jump the gun, but he did not do that at all.
This is exactly what I was talking about. Vex, they just switched up a little bit. They went round to Yard, they picked up the shotguns, then they jumped into bottom mid because the rest of Endpoint just said, okay, if you're going to take Yard, we'll take Nest. And they were able to get a little bit of points out of it. Now the fact they've got camouflage as well, they should be able to take bottom mid if they can win these battles. And maybe they can start clawing their way back into this game. They just need to get into a setup position. Vex really haven't been able to put themselves in a position where they are locking Endpoint in this Yard. If they can get them on that constant spawn trap, constant spawn cycle, and they might be able to win this one.
Well, you're going to have Lunny pick up a smooth kill here on Zuh as his camo runs out, so putting it to great use. They've got the trip cap for just a second. Lunny makes his way up to Yellow Pipes to help out his teammate Riot's here over by the Yard. They're trying to get another trip cap as they begin to lose the Nest. So a switcheroo is going to happen, but in favor of Vex still. So we're not seeing this boxing match we saw here at bottom mid. Both teams are putting more attention to those outer strongholds. Lunny is just going to get melted, though, as he makes his way towards bottom mid, along with Buck and Cristola. So that's going to be 2 down for Vex. Endpoint trying to regain control, and they do.
Vexed are trying to play Endpoint's game at the moment. Vexed are saying, actually, if we just all rotate as a unit and we go from stronghold to stronghold, we should just be able to win and keep ahead of Endpoint. But Endpoint have always got one player that keeps positioning himself in bottom middle and just being a real nuisance to that plan for Vexed. Only 5 points away now from winning this game, actually, at Endpoint. And they'd be very happy if they can take one game. We need to see Vexed go huge if they're going to be able to win this one.
Well, they will lose that there in just the last few seconds, but they are able to gain control across the map. But Vex answer back and switch another one. Endpoint doing everything they can to stay alive. They do not want to lose this, as their attempt for a ticket to DreamHack Denver will be all but over here at this event. So Septic making a push towards bottom middle, leading the charge, getting some shots on bottom mid. He's able to keep it alive just long enough for a few teammates. That's going to be 2 players making the move. That's 98 to 76, and Endpoint are able to do it. 1 more second, and that should do it. Endpoint keep themselves alive here. They are not going home just yet. Winning game number 4. They've got a long road ahead of them if they are going to win this series, though. It's a best of 7. They need 3 more wins.
Yeah, the slays were relatively even as well. Vexed only outslaying Endpoint by just the 1 kill. As I said, it didn't feel like Vexed were playing their own game. It seemed like they were more than happy to take that boxing match, take that scrap in the bottom middle, rather than trying to get the control of Yard per se. But regardless, they're still 3-1 up. They won't be too disheartened by that. The only worry for you is you're now giving Endpoint a little bit of hope, a little bit of confidence. If they know that they can win 1 game, then why the hell not? They could win the rest and actually reverse sweep this series. But still, the same kind of attitude on the face of these Vex players. Not really talking about the game. They can brush it off, just looking ahead to the next one.
Well, you do see Buck kind of talking about this next match possibly. Very focused as well. We did see Vex reverse sweep Excel to get to this spot right now, but we have not seen Endpoint pull something similar, and they could potentially do that here, like you said. But if Endpoint bring this back, I mean, what a heck of a match this would be. You have the veteran players on Endpoint. You've got Buck 20. He's been competing for so long, so this isn't something new to him. He's not going to be flustered by this. He's been here time and time again. Normally, with his twin brother, though, this time he's solo. He's got, I wouldn't say solo, but he's by himself. He doesn't have his brother, his twin brother, who's kind of been by his side the entire time.
He has. There's a weird statistic. I think actually without his brother, Buck 20 usually places worse. I think back in the day, I think he placed like top 32 without his brother. And then ever since 57 came in, they started placing top 16, top 12, top 8.
I see you looking at Buck over here.
I'm just seeing if I can catch an eye just so he can give me a wink or a nod to let me know if I'm right. And then he teamed with me, and we placed like 3rd without his brother as well. But yeah, it's a shame not to see the twins together. They were such they were icons in the European community, right? They were like the Ogre twins of the UK. But Buck 20 being able to come back and say, look, I've got a full-time job, I'm working hard, but I'm going to still make time to play Halo 5 is an absolutely fantastic thing to see. And to see them take games off a practice team like Vexed is even better.
Well, we do have some highlights for you at home, so let's jump into those highlights from Plaza Strongholds. Going to see a lot of action. We were talking about how well Endpoint at the beginning of this game were able to get a commanding lead and kind of keep that aggression up and split those spawns consistently, is what you said.
Yeah, Endpoint had a game plan right from the get-go. They all just charged bottom mid, and they said, actually, bottom mid is going to be our focus. As long as one of us is always jumping down, always being a nuisance, then we might be able to make this difficult for Vex, which they did. Vex just couldn't find the control that they would have liked. They couldn't find the rotations they would have liked, and in the end, they ended up falling. As I said, I don't think it's going to be too dramatic in this series as we move into game number 5, which is going to be Slayer on Truth. Now, you talk about reverse sweeps, Mike. Yeah, okay, you can reverse sweep in a best of 5, but reverse sweeping in a best of 7 is so much different. That takes so much more power and courage and, well, just momentum to be able to do something like that.
Takes a lot of energy. We've seen Team Envious do it before.
Yeah, we have, but I don't think Endpoint are quite on the same level. Not quite. I mean, we talked about the Buck twins, but I mean, no.
I'd say they're kind of up there for the European scene. They might not be on the level of skill of Team Envious, but in the European scene,
are you comparing Endpoint to Team Envious right now, Mike?
Well, I'm just maybe not to their skill level.
I'm just checking.
Maybe not to their skill level.
I'm just gonna write this down.
Okay.
Envious.
He's got this notebook. He's got this notebook over here where he's just queuing up stuff, a lot of smack talk, and just a lot of banter, just queuing it up for later on. But we are going into game number 5 here. Slayer on Truth, kicking it off with Cristola as he's got his eyes here on Camo, but getting pegged from blue window. He's going to decide to go up to pink 3. Not going to be able to get eyes yet on this or not going to be able to get a hold on this camo just yet. But as I say that, he's able to pick up the kill and get camo in favor of his squad. 2 players will go down, but I'd say that they won that battle there to start the match.
And I'm expecting a lot from Vexed here as well, because in these Slayer game types, pushing together, they do very well. And they're able to push people on spawns, they're able to rotate between blue and red, and they like to split up spawns as well. That's what I like about this Vex lineup. They stagger kills on purpose. Like, they'll get 1 kill, get a second, and they'll say, hey, let's wait a little bit, let's let someone else spawn. They're going to spawn on the other side of the map, and then we slay them. Because then you constantly have that advantage when you're pushing in. You always are in a 3 versus 2 advantage or a 2 versus 1 advantage, and that's a very advantageous position to be in. As now Cristola is just still with this camouflage. He's just been doing a little bit of work, done a lot of damage. He's been pushing shots. Not found any kills yet, though. He just seems to be tagging everyone up and hoping that his team can finish them off.
All right, well, let's move on over to Lunny right now. And, you know, let's hear what their communication is like one more time here in game number 5 after getting flustered up in game number 4. So let's jump into a listen-in with Vexed.
Two guys on my car, I'm coming to you, bro. I'm going car, Pete, I'm going car. Back up. 1 blue window.
Go on.
One's flying red bubble.
One shot, quad is.
Red bubble, guys, he's gonna shoot you.
One sec.
3 car.
Yeah, car 2 right now. I should go one. Rise. Let's go blue side. Let's go red cuts as well.
Come on, red cuts. Oh, one in red, two in red
as well. Push through well. Rob.
Just help Alex.
Rob, come in, 1 shot, Rob. Kartik, I'm helping Alex here.
Drop, you're on your own.
Thanks, Alex. I'm stomach. Follow me, boys. Follow me weak. Nice. Help me. 44.
Nice. One top mid as well.
We have both B-lines, get back to red. Yeah, get ready, but
Someone on the right, it's absolute. Someone down. I've made it.
Red on me. Blue guns. Blue door, where your car, 1 shot mark. Your car, 1 shot mark.
Red front, watch your Chris.
B2, B face, boys. Help me, B face. Watch your B face. Chris is bomb now. B1 1 shot, boys. He's gonna get camo. Free, 1 shot. He's got it. B1 weak. He's got it. He's still there.
Watch my base, guys. My base. My car takes 1 shot.
Come on, your 3 out. Come your 3 out. Come on, 1 shot, Lenny. Nice.
P2, Chris.
Do his weak. Challenge. I got your help right now.
1 on me, car. PT still.
Pushing it.
Alright. Need your right side for you. He's on face weak, and can't.
1 shot blue window, boys.
P1, chasing you.
Got 2, come on.
You want your quick ball?
Two ones, mate. Don't challenge, mate. See on me. Watch the tree, watch the B1 now.
On top, watch the P1 still, guys. Watch the P1 still.
2 guys at P2.
Yeah, they're pushing red.
I'm on car,
they're
rushing red. Good car, again.
Push red.
Skip car.
We can red.
No, again.
One.
Come here, base 1 shot, you come here, base 1 shot. That's alright.
Two in the basement.
Let's go blue.
At least.
I'm with you,
red flag. Rest 3, I got fished up. This guy, blue, red car, free kill. Car 1, red car 1. 2 guys pushing your car.
There you heard it, Vexed with some very quick call-outs, constant communication, and constant work to immediately help out your teammate. You're seeing very quick reaction time from this squad. Moving, rotating around the map. They've taken the lead 21-19. Gaskin, what have you seen so far?
It's scrappy again. Like, Vexed are just constantly taking this battle. They're taking the individual fights to Endpoint, which is just playing into their favor, really, because the likes of Morga, the likes of Zer, they're very well practiced. I know I keep talking about Buck 20, I keep talking about Septic, saying how they've returned to the game and how they're legends, but Zer and Morga, they never left. They've been hammering this game, and they've looked very strong, and that is why, in these Slayer game types, they're actually able to go toe-to-toe with the likes of Vexed.
Right, you are well over to Buck 20, and things have slowed down just a moment as we hear some shots go off across the map. Zuh will go down from Endpoint, but Buck 20 really kind of just keeping himself here as a kind of a stronghold towards this part of the map and just getting some sightlines across the map, but not really able to kind of contribute to anything right now, not able to get any shots down. But as I say that, you're going to see Septic pick up a kill. That's 2 down for Vexed. And Endpoint have the lead right now, 26-23, but we always say, Slayers, they start around that 30 kill mark, and that's when every kill starts to matter.
They have the lead and they have the timings of the camouflage as well. I think Morga picked up the camo. He did go down eventually, but sometimes it doesn't really matter if you die. It's just about getting the timing of it. If you can pick it up when your opposition hasn't seen it, you have that slight advantage. Yes, they can guess when the camouflage is going to come up, but as long as you know the precise time, you should have the advantage to be able to pick it up. Still, a very, very close game. You can see that Endpoint are doing well to work their way out of bases when they spawn together. They're not pushing individually. I'm really impressed with them so far on this Truth game.
Nice grenade from Morgan to take out the player top middle. We'll move over to check in with Septic. And some body disgrace here, even though they are behind 3-1 in the series. So surprising to see that from him. 31-30, and you know, you got to be careful sometimes. You don't want to get too cocky, especially with the situation that you're in right now. You're down 3-1. You should just be focusing on the W, focusing on your next move, on what you need to be doing.
I mean, you got nothing to lose at this point, right? If you can try and get in the heads of Vex, then sure, why not do it? At the end of the day, Endpoint should not be this close to Vex. Vex should be tiers above with the amount of time they have. The players are on that roster. So if I'm in Endpoint shoes, hell yeah. I mean, if I'm out shooting someone, I'm going to let them know I'm out shooting them, because I'm going to be like, I've not been playing this game as much as you. You guys shouldn't be losing to us. And then slowly but surely, that's going to get into the heads of Vex. And they're going to be saying, hey, we shouldn't be losing to these guys. Why are we struggling in these games? Then you start arguing between yourselves. Then you start having those disagreements. And suddenly, then the series is back on, Mike.
Well, we've got Camo popping here in just 5 seconds, so that will be coming up at Pink 1, but we do have Endpoint across the map over by Carside, so no one really in position on Endpoint to get their eyes here on Camo, and look at that, a free Camo for Vex. Lunny picks up the Camo, he'll get spotted across the map. Not going to engage in battle, though. Definitely the right move you want to see from him, but like, look, he's just taking it slow. He's going to pick up the tac mag, and there's no reason for him to engage in a face-to-face battle. But look at this. He's going to get spotted across the map and have to make his way around. Gasson, you were just tapping me on the shoulder. What did you see?
I'm just saying I was disappointed that Endpoint didn't actually even contest that camouflage, considering they had the one before and they had the timing that I was talking about. Clearly they felt something else was priority, maybe even just map control, maybe one particular kill, trying to get the control of Pink perhaps. Either way, they still are in this game. They're tied at the moment. I say that now they're down by 1. Now we're back because Riots get some big kills. But this is going to go right down to the wire, Mike. Neither team can find their way ahead in this game. They're trying to edge ahead, but they just keep clawing back every time there's a couple of kills that goes in favor of the other team.
Well, if you're Endpoint, everything is on the line right now, because if you lose, you're going home. Vex get to move on and secure that ticket to DreamHack Denver, so you're giving it your absolute all. You've got no room for error. 40-39, almost takes out a teammate with that plasma grenade right now. Morgan going out into the front of Pink, gets the call out, a player's one shot. Nade comes in, he is just barely staying alive, picks up the kill on Quadios. It's 42-40. The next Camo is gonna be up in 35 seconds as well. Morgan now making a push, gets a trade. You know, I actually like that play. There was not much he could do. He had a player behind him at Pink 1, so what did he do? He charged forward just to at least get a trade at minimum.
The worst thing you could do in this situation, what you just said, is when you feel like you are about to lose or you could go out of this series, you start to turtle up and you say, actually, we want to be a little bit careful here because we do lose this game, we're out. No, you just stay, you keep aggressive, you keep fighting, and that's exactly what Endpoint are doing right now. They're taking the game to Vex. They don't want to slow this down. They want to win those individual battles.
Oh,
that's where we see the push.
My gosh, Quadios holding it down for his team. Now they have taken the lead, 45-43. Not what you want to see here if you're an Endpoint fan. Quadios now making a move up. He's got some help from Lunny as well up ahead.
And Riots has managed to pick up the camouflage as well, so just 3 kills away. He's just picked up a big double, and actually Endpoint are getting closed in on. They've all just spawned in the same base, and all of Vex are swarming. This is what they do so well on Regret, and they're doing exactly the same on Truth. Expect all 4 of them to enclose. They're so close to Denver now with camouflage in the hands of Riots. That's going to be game on their way to America. Denver, here we come. Are they going to be in championship bracket? Are they going to be in open bracket? That remains to be seen, but all that matters right now is they're going to America. They've worked so hard. They dropped very early in the losers bracket in an unexpected result versus Supremacy, but now they can start fighting for what they really want here, Mike.
Incredible plays there from Vexed. Riots, you know he's feeling good. He's put in a lot of time. He's committed himself on coming back and being a top player, and now he can do that and focus on competing in North America at DreamHack Denver, along the likes of Infuse, along the likes of Supremacy. But like you said earlier, yes, they've secured the ticket, but they can still secure a spot in the championship bracket. They're gonna have to beat Supremacy next to do so though. But they are going. Can they beat Supremacy? That's the next question here at this event.
And I think that's going to be a good question for our analysts as well. I mean, we'll quickly look at the stats very briefly. Riot's actually picked up an overkill in that game. It's a shame that we missed that one, but he went 15 and 12 with 13 assists. As you said, big game from Riot's there. And can they beat Supremacy? I mean, I think they believe, yes, they probably truly can. Riot was very disappointed. The rest of the squad were very disappointed yesterday when they went down to Supremacy, and they just said, hey, we've been here before. We have an elimination bracket run. There is no reason why we can't fight back and we can't just take them down in a loser's bracket final.
I think something to point out from that last game as well, Vex did a phenomenal job at securing the camo 4 times. They only lost 1 camo battle. That was it. And that last camo, they were just perfectly set up. Lunny didn't even get touched when he picked up that camo. He was able to just make his way over to bottom mid, pick up the tac mag, completely untouched, and use that to their advantage to just secure out the rest of that game.
And I was slightly disappointed by that as well, because Endpoint had the second camo, they had the timing on it, and then no one was there for that third camo when Lunny was able to get it completely. And then the last camo, Riot's had it, and they were able to win that game because of it. All because Riot's was able to get behind, get a big double, have that camouflage, and get those important kills right at the end.
Do you think, I'm asking you, can they beat Supremacy? Can Vex do it?
Yes, they can. Whether I think they will is a different question. They definitely have it in them. Supremacy are going to be slightly deflated after their loss to Infused, so it's really going to be about how Supremacy pick themselves up and how their morale is going to be.
All right, well, if you're watching from home, let us know what you think. But we do have an interview on the floor ready with Lottie and Riot. Over to you.
Thank you very much, guys. So Riot's an incredible series for you. We knew you'd come back to beat it. How was that overall for you?
It was good. We came out a bit slow. For myself personally, I'm ill and I'm really lacking sleep. So it took me a while to kind of get focused in that game, to be fair. As a team, I think we can play better. But props to those guys, Endpoint, because they've come a long way. They weren't that great online and they've actually showed up pretty well on LAN. So props to them.
Well, that first Strongholds we saw, that comeback was unbelievable. Did that set you off on the right foot for the rest of the series?
It was nice to get the win, to be fair. Like, it's not nice going down 1-0 at the start. But we're kind of used to pulling things back. We always have a kind of a slow start. So, yeah, just kind of getting these jitters out of the way now.
Well, in Slayer, we saw some good rotations from you, some smart play, but that all came to a halt on the second Strongholds. Now, that one was very difficult. What happened there?
I don't know. We just kind of lost a bit of composure, kind of kept giving away silly deaths, and they took advantage. You know, they got experienced players on their team, and you know, when they're good Halo players, they know how to take advantage of that sort of stuff. So, no, we didn't give them enough respect, really.
Well, you're through to Denver, but before Denver, we've got a very important match coming up next. Supremacy. Now, you actually lost to Supremacy last time, and they put you in the loser bracket. What are the emotions of the team going into this one now?
We want to win, obviously, but you know, we've got no bad blood with Supremacy, but we've always matched up. I feel like we match up quite well against each other. All of our games are always, you know, back and forth. There's games that they can beat us comfortably on. There's games that we can beat them comfortably on. It just comes down to what team's feeling it personally, you know. So it should be a good series.
You've played them before. Now, can you read their game style? Do you think, yep, we've got this in the bag this time, we're going to get you guys?
Not necessarily. We know kind of how they play, but it really does depend on kind of the maps and like just who's going off, you know, because they've got a few players on their team who can carry a game, but so do we. So.
All right, it's good luck. Cannot wait to see this and how it plays out. Back over to you, Bryce.
All right, thank you very much. Yes, what a series. Endpoint looking stronger than we may have given them credit for. But Vex walk away with it. And Riot seems very confident in that one as well. And no bad blood against Supremacy. And even he predicts it'll be a good game.
Yeah, I think he has probably just been humbled a little bit in that series, to be honest with you. We talked about how important it was for them to come out to a hot start in that game and for today. And to be honest with you, yes, they won 4-1, but that performance doesn't instill confidence in me moving forward. I have to be brutally honest with it.
Was it a case of Vex not performing as well or Endpoint doing better than we gave them credit for?
I think it was a combination of both. I think Endpoint played very well, especially Morga. I think he had an incredible series for his team. I know he's super well practiced. He's put in the time and it really is showing for him personally on that team. But again, it seems like the same mistakes we're seeing from Vexed on the same game types. It's difficult to fix during an event, but they do need to try and fix it. We look at that Plaza Strongholds game again. That's just, every time we've seen them play it, they lose it. You know, it doesn't matter who they're coming up against. So they need to get some of these game types down, and they need to fix it quickly.
Yeah, I think you said Morga stepped up very well. Yeah, I think his stock is massively rising despite only finishing 4th. I say only 4th. No one expected Endpoint to be even potentially within the top 6 at this event. So it's good to see them up there in the top 4 once again. They did the exact same thing at Wembley. It's something about a live event environment that gets these guys pumped up. But yeah, I think Endpoint stepped up in that series. I think it's very harsh on Vexed for them to drop a map, honestly. But yeah, like you said, that Plaza Stronghold's one that we really need fixing for Vexed.
It certainly is. All right, let's jump into map 1 then and talk about how this one went down. Of course, Empire was where we started, 100 to 96. And this is where we started to think, Endpoint, are they stronger than we thought?
This was one of the most ridiculous. That's how good it was. I invented a new word.
Good word.
It was a crazy game, easier word, that I've seen on this particular game type. I think if that game at the end would have gone on for 0.5 of a second more, for a second more, then it would have been a different result completely. They were capturing the pit Endpoint just as that game closed out, and they just didn't have enough time to get it back in their hands. But after a really strong start from Endpoint, you have to credit the comeback as well from Vex. Never easy to come back in these strongholds game types. You need to take your time, you need to get your kills before you start capturing those strongholds. But I think this definitely woke Vexed up, and they definitely felt their way into the series because of this game. But I still feel that this probably was a game type Endpoint should have actually won.
Yeah, I thought they should have won that one, in my opinion. I think you summed it up very, very well. If the game goes on for maybe a second longer, Endpoint wins it, but that's how